This is about creativity. As it says there, a basic introduction. We're just going to look at a few of the W's, who, what, when, where, how, why of creativity. So let's start with the where does creativity come from? So, is it a divine quality? Are you born with it that some people have? Only gifted people can be creative. You know, you're either born a Van Gogh, a Pollock, or you're doomed with stickmen. That's what we call some attribute theories. Don't worry too much about these keywords, but if you want to look into it, please feel free. Is it serendipitous activity? You know, much evidence supports the lucky break theory. You know, I have this argument with myself all the time. Is Elon Musk a creative entrepreneur? Because ultimately he only came up with one good idea with his PayPal. So does that make him creative just because he did it once? That's process theories. Is it planned luck when you're looking for opportunities, such as a Dyson or a Branson? You know, they're looking for the opportunities in the market to then really exploit and use their creativity. Or is it just hard work and persistence? You know, J.K. Rowling was rejected many, many times before Harry Potter was taken on, and it's considered, you know, she created a whole world, a whole new universe, and she just kept going at it. Or can you actually learn something, some idea generation methods? Are there certain things we can do, little tricks of the trade we can look at to help generate some ideas? We're going to look, you know, we looked at them last week about PEST and SWOT. Do they help us generate ideas? Do the 4 Ps and the diamond thinking that we're looking at in these later videos, do they help with our generation of creativity? So we'll look at the creative process. So can we just develop and improve our creativity? So is it a distinct way of looking at the world? Do we have to look at the world in a certain way to be creative? You know, can we look at things and always see a different way, a different thing? Is it a way of challenging custom, routine and tradition? Once again, this is very Dyson. You know, yes, he invented the vacuum, but he's also invented so much more things like the hand dryers. He's now going into the electric car market because he sees an industry and he goes, I can make that better. I can make that more efficient, more effective. So he challenges the routine and the tradition of what's always happened and does something a little different. It's about involved seeing relationship that others may not see. You know, the old joke of the very first person who milked a cow, what did he think he was getting out of it, you know? But one could argue when they see the baby going up to the mother and drinking, they put 2 and 2 together and say, maybe I can drink some of that as well. If it's good for the baby, it should be good for me. If it's good for the calf, maybe it's good for me as well. So is it about seeing those relationships that other people might not see? Sometimes some of the best items, most creative things are the most simplest. Once again, we're looking at Dyson again. Are there better ways of doing things? Is there a completely new way we can look at doing things and the way we do things and how we do things? And can we do it more efficiently and more effectively? Such as the way we're teaching now. You know, we don't do the lecture for this module. It's online because that's more efficient and effective. We don't need all of us in the same room for me to talk at you. That's what we got the videos for. And structure and focus, chaos, thriving on ambiguity. You know, is it just you chuck enough things in there and eventually some things will come out? I used to teach a gentleman whose company made the chocolate fish from fish food, and they had this kind of approach. They used to create 200 new products every year, and only 1 or 2 would make it. So they just used to chuck out loads and loads of new products and see who would eventually buy them so they could make it. And they really thrived on this chaos and just seeing what floated and what worked and what didn't work. How can we encourage creativity earlier then? So we said earlier, is there ways to encourage and develop it? Or are we born with it? Let's have a look. You know, there's the old saying, you know, teach me the battles to fight and the ones to leave alone, you know, and the knowledge to know the difference between the two. So is there sometimes when we can change things? Certain things are to be changed and developed. Has the vacuum cleaner peaked? Is it at the top of its game? Or is there more things we can do? Electric cars, will they take off? Won't they take off? Is there anything more we can do? Or are certain things finished and they're there and they're as complete as they're ever going to be? Tips to encourage creativity is to reward creativity in those who display. I'm a big fan of this. I do a bit of coaching of sports teams sometimes, and this is one of my big things here. So even though it's rugby that I teach, even though the set move didn't come off, I always applaud them for trying the move, because if I tell them off for it not working, all they'll do is they'll stick to the boring the predictable what does work. So I've got to make sure I reward the creativity, they're trying something new, and congratulate them for that, and not inhibit them from trying new ideas. Sometimes, and this is one of the cruxes of enterprise and entrepreneurship, it's about taking sensible, calculated risks. If we talked about Musk, and it's very interesting that Tesla's whole business model is based on the risk that eventually battery prices will come down. Currently, Tesla's losing about $60,000 a day, and they're burning through Elon Musk's fortune at a rapid rate. But they're banking on the fact that eventually battery technology will become a lot easier to produce, a lot cheaper, and be charged a lot quicker. And when that happens, that's when Tesla's business model is really going to take off. So real calculated risk there by Musk. Is it going to work? Is it not? We'll find out. I think it's middle of June. Is due to run out of money. So let's see what happens. Once again, it's about trying to overcome obstacles so they don't overcome you. So it's about trying to really focus on what going forwards, what you can do. There's a great scene in Patch Adams where the guy who's meant to be crazy, but is he just crazy or really creative? He keeps asking how many fingers they see. And the problem is when you hold fingers up in somebody's face, they stare at the fingers. And what it wants them to do is to look through the fingers, and the fingers actually then become blurred. And that's the whole point about creativity. So, hold your hand up, and if you focus on the fingers, all you'll see is your 4 fingers. But if you look through your fingers and look at the things behind it, look at the future, they start to blur, and suddenly you see 6 or 8. Is that a trip to creativity? Not just looking at the problem, but trying to look through the problem, at what might happen, what might be coming to the future, and let it blur a little bit so you can see the gaps. And I think for the long term, this is a nice one for encouraging creative behavior in your work, is you've got to look at the long term. Google do this. They do the 70-20-10 model. So 70% of the time their staff are working on what their staff should be working on. So if I've hired somebody to be an IT consultant, 70% of the time they're doing IT consultancy. 20% of the time they're allowed to work on other projects within their department. So I might be working on other IT projects, because I'm within the IT department. And then 20% of the time I can work on anything I want. So I'm IT, but I might be working on some new photography stuff. And many of Google's newest products have come out of people who have been working on that 10%. They've just been off doing their own little thing, just working on something that they love or they think might be big. And it really has turned into something big. And this is how Google have really helped focus on the long term. And there we go. It's about keep growing. It's about trying to do better tomorrow than what you did yesterday. So it's about that moving forwards once again. So to encourage creativity within a business sense, we've got to grow what we do, forever changing, forever evolving. And as we said earlier in the sensible risks, be aware of the danger of knowing too much. Sometimes that naivety is quite good. We can't do that because the world won't accept it yet. Well, does that mean we shouldn't try and do that? Google once again came with the Google glasses and they didn't work, but that was just people weren't ready for them. Technically they worked, technically they were a really good product, but the world wasn't ready for that yet. So if they'd have sat and thought, is the world ready for it, and not bothered doing anything, would they have developed? And once again, Google glasses didn't work, they weren't accepted by the world, but they still took a lot of information from that, what the world was ready for, so they could move forward. And that's where their voice recognition came from, Alexa came from. The glasses, people weren't quite ready for the glasses yet, but something they could interface with on a personable level, such as Alexa, came from the glasses. So yeah, the Google glasses didn't work as a product, but the learning they took from that helped them move forwards. So things that might stop us according to Kirby, these are things that might stop us being creative. Searching for the one right idea. I did this last week with a group of students. We were just trying to jot some ideas down, and they would write a couple of ideas, and once they got to the idea, they would stop because they figured, well, that's what we're going to do, and they'd stop doing it. And the whole point about being creative is just to get loads of ideas down. Don't look for the idea. Just keep going until you got loads of ideas, and sometimes you can mash them together. The problem with being creative is if you focus on being logical, too much focusing on logical. Will this work? Will we get it to market? Let's just try and make it happen. SpaceX, once again, another one of Elon Musk's attempts. It's about sending a rocket out of space and then landing it back down again. He's only landed about 50% of what he's sent up there. But hey, he's landed 50%. If he just focused on what was logical, would he have even sent some up? If we blindly follow the rules, will we really be creative? You know, are we too focusing on the, once again, the logic and what should be rather than what could be? Being practical, this is an interesting one. Constantly being practical might stop you from being creative. If you, once again, always think about the logical outcome, sometimes you lose that ability to really come at something from a sideways angle. Sometimes you've got to be flexible so that you can be creative and so that the thing can work. You've got to look at how to bend some of the what is and what's happening to try and make it work. Viewing play as frivolous, I like this one. I used to do this a lot when I was in industry. We used to play an awful lot because ultimately we learn through play. We learn a lot through play, and we can develop, our mind is very active when we're playing. So if you don't allow yourself to play, to mess around, it doesn't happen. I think it's Steve Jobs that's, you know, if I want something doing, I'll ask a lazy person to do it because they'll find the most efficient way to do it. You know, and this is all part of this frivolous. Becoming over-specialised there is a barrier to creativity. Sometimes we focus on what we're good at and we don't try and develop anything else. And as I said earlier, sometimes because you're lazy at something or you don't quite like it, you create something. You know, I'm sat in my house staring at my dishwasher. Was that created by somebody that just doesn't like it and therefore created the dishwasher? So they didn't specialise in something, they just created something that people needed. Avoiding ambiguity, you know, it's looking for that uncertainty, playing within the grey areas, what could be. Fearing you will look foolish, you know, you've got to have a lot of gusto, you know, to be taken, to be creative, and don't worry what people think. It's say once again, like J.K. Rowling, as we said, Harry Potter was rejected an awful lot of times, but she wasn't bothered if people thought it was a rubbish idea or she was silly writing about wizards and creating this whole world of wizards. She loved doing it and really got into it. So what happens? So what if I'm looking foolish? Same again. If you fear of failure, you'll never do anything. If you're worried you're going to make mistakes, you'll never actually do or achieve anything. It's through our failures that we actually learn more. Is it Edison with a famous quote? Edison was it took him 164 times to invent the light bulb, and Edison states he didn't fail 164 times, he just found 163 ways not to create a light bulb. So he really had this, he took his failures on board and developed and moved forward from it, and that's what made him such a prolific inventor. And ultimately, barriers to creativity is you. If you think you're not creative, then you won't be. You know, whether you believe you are or aren't, you're correct. So if you think you're not creative, you won't be creative. So start believing you're creative, and let's start looking at ways to develop our creativity.